Hello, and welcome back to All Things Podcasting, the podcast where we talk about all things podcasting. Today is a little bit of a different episode. If you follow me on social media, you know that we have a new program coming out. So I wanted to take this episode and really talk to you guys about what that program entails, how to know if it's a good fit for you, and basically everything that's going to be included so that you guys kind of have the inside scoop and you don't have to hop into my DMs with questions and you don't have to seek out those answers. If you have questions after this episode, of course, always hop into my DMs, but I thought this would be a good way to kind of give everybody the 411 on what is happening. So what is coming to you all is the Macro Marketing Mastermind. And this has kind of spurred from our business has taken a huge transition in the last year. We went from doing just podcasting, launching and managing podcasts, into doing video as well for YouTube, and then also taking that video and audio and repurposing it into all of these different things. So TikToks, Reels, YouTube Shorts, blogs, emails, posts, stories, so many different things that we really realized that through having a podcast, if you record it audio and video, then you're able to have all of these different assets that allows you to have a 360 marketing approach all the way around all the platforms, repurpose that one piece of content and put it everywhere so that you're showing up for your audience. You're meeting them where they are, no matter where they're searching for what you have. If they're searching on Pinterest, if they're searching on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, podcast, whatever their preferred platform is, you want to be there so that you're meeting them where they are. You're the solution that is top of mind. You're what's coming up. So we kind of just created this 360-degree marketing approach where we're taking all of the audio and video content and repurposing it. Where we kind of differ in your typical repurposing strategy is we use the podcast as kind of the heart of this marketing strategy. So everything is going to be optimized first with the podcast in mind, because that is where we have seen the best results for our clients. That's where people are coming back over and over and over again. Listeners are super loyal. They're going to tune in every single week to that podcast. So we want that to be really a great nurture space for your audience. So we start with the podcast top of mind. We make sure that the content for the podcast is optimized for conversions, and then we look at repurposing it for YouTube. And it's super easy. And actually, YouTube is now the number one place where people go to get their podcast content, whether that is posting the podcast just with the audio and a graphic so that you're not having to really show up on video if you don't want to, or posting the podcast video. There used to be this thought that you couldn't repurpose a podcast onto YouTube because the podcast wasn't really built for YouTube. It's just talking face to face. It's doing an interview. It's not dynamic in a way that you're throwing things out on a board or doing a yoga sequence or showing somebody how to make cupcakes or whatever. It's not that visually engaging, but we've seen this huge shift in people coming to listen to podcasts on YouTube. So that has been really cool to see. And it's been really eye-opening for us and our clients as well to see we don't have to create a whole new stream of marketing. We don't have to record a whole new video. We don't have to create a whole new piece of content. We can just take the podcast and either record it on video, edit that video and post it on YouTube, or just put a graphic behind the audio or the podcast, and then it's on YouTube. Okay, I went on a YouTube tangent there, but it's just such a cool strategy. And we've really been doing this with our clients and they've seen great results. So we want to bring that same strategy to you. So if you are terrified of tech, you don't have a big audience, and you don't think of yourself as an industry expert yet, and you have all the imposter syndrome around launching a podcast, being on YouTube, being in all the places, if it feels scary to you, this mastermind is going to take care of all of that for you. You don't have to have a big audience. We focus on having an engaged audience. That is what we want, a small engaged audience The people who are loyal to you, they are going to purchase from you. They care about what you have to say. They are your people. That is what we want. We don't need 20,000 Instagram followers. It's just not needed. An engaged audience is going to bring you way more sales than a big audience. If you are terrified of tech, don't stress about it. We've got you covered. We have been doing this for so long, and I am like the captain of the optimization squad. I am always looking for new ways to do things, optimizing the way that we're doing things, finding shortcuts and ways that we can bring the same level of content, bring the same level of product, but save time, save money, create simpler processes, make it easy, and get more out of it. This mastermind is all about that because I want you guys to be able to do all the things, show up everywhere, and not spend all of your time doing it. So we're showing you all of the tech that we use to do that. Super easy. We've hacked it to a science. It's insane. Okay, so we all know that creating video and audio content is the best way to build know, like, and trust with your audience. They can see you, they can hear you, they're building that relationship. But you probably already know that because you're listening to this podcast. So whether you've just recently started your online business or you've been in the coaching space for a while or you have one-on-one services, you know that connecting with your audience is key to making a bigger impact and creating more sales. You got to earn more of that money. It all starts with your audience and connecting with them. And we want to be able to connect with our audience while having more freedom in our business, because for most of us, that's why we got into our business in the first place. It wasn't to be tied to the computer. It wasn't to constantly be on Facebook and Instagram, checking DMs and creating new content and recording TikToks and all of those things. It is overwhelming. I get it, but it doesn't have to be. So we all know marketing can be hard. We get these like big bursts where we're like, I'm going to market everything and I'm going to do all of the things and we're going to be in all the places, and we get burnt out. It doesn't have to be that way. Because when you're creating one piece of content and turning it into all of these other pieces of content, and you have a simple workflow, you have all the strategies in place, it's just one thing to check off your list each week. If you're able to show up on all these places, it doesn't feel like a constant chore. It doesn't feel like, oh, I need to record a TikTok again today, or I need to make sure I do another post on Instagram or post another story. We give you the baseline for your marketing. So we're giving one large piece of content each week that's going to be posted to the podcast and YouTube. And that podcast is going to be broken into smaller pieces of content that get shared everywhere. So it's going to be a super value-packed piece of content that we're able to pull all these other things out of. So your audience knows you're still there. Your audience knows that you're still engaged. Even if you're out on vacation and you're not able to do a live or post a different story or do a TikTok, it gives you this cushion to let yourself only do extra post when it brings you joy, when you feel called to do it. It's not a chore anymore. You only need to do those things when it feels right to you, because through this strategy, you're taking care of the baseline of your marketing. You have everything in place that you need to be successful. Anything else you do is just icing on the cake. So let me know if you identify with this. Is your calendar maxed out? And every month you are searching for new content ideas that will turn your audience into buyers. Are you craving more time in your day so that you can close your laptop earlier and spend your evenings hanging out with your partner, getting some quality rest, watching a movie with your kids, all of those fun things? Do you love seeing your clients and students score big wins and you secretly want to help even more people? You just don't want to work more hours. Hello, that was me. We pivoted. We've got it down now. And you don't want to build a whole marketing team to get there. You might be doing one-on-one services and you want to launch a course or program, but you don't have the audience to do it. You don't have the people. You don't have the platforms. We got you covered. We're going to set you up for success so that when you do launch into the world, you're able to do so seamlessly. You're not having to worry about building a bigger audience and getting all these people engaged, because they're already going to be there. They're already going to be engaged with you. They're going to be begging for a course, a membership, something else from you if they can't fit into your one-on-one calendar. If you're already coaching, coursing, membershiping, all of the things, then this is a super smart decision for you. because we are going to get your audience, your current audience who has been lurking, who has been thinking about investing, but just isn't there yet. We're going to pull them into this marketing strategy. They're going to see that your podcast is launching. They're going to see your YouTube is launching, and it's going to reactivate the excitement. They're going to come into the podcast. They're going to tune into your YouTube channel. They're going to see all this new content going out on social media. And it's going to reignite the fire that they have and make them want to invest in you all over again. So it's going to take those lurkers and turn them into buyers. It's going to increase your audience because through the podcast, the YouTube channel, TikToks, Reels, all of those things, that is how new audiences find you. I could do a whole other episode on connecting with new audiences, but we need things that are searchable. So platforms like Pinterest, searchable, Google, searchable. So that's where like your blogs come in, but also TikToks are now searchable through Google. If you do a search, a TikTok could pop up as the top search. People are searching on TikTok. They are searching through Reels, and TikTok and Reels are also dynamic. So it's bringing up your video is only going to show up for people who are aligned with you, people who are watching videos similar to yours already. So that's how we're growing the audience. We're doing blog posts so that it's showing up on Google search results. We're doing YouTube videos so that when people go to YouTube and search for their problem, they're finding you as the solution. So we're creating all of these different ways for new people to find you, new audiences to come in. Again, I might do a whole nother podcast episode on just that because I have people asking me all the time. Okay. So if you're really honest with yourself, you've been listening to this podcast, if you've been in our Facebook group, if you've been in our network, at this point, you probably know that you need to leverage audio and video content to solve all the problems we were talking about before, that you want to help more people, that you want more time in your day, that you want to turn your audience into buyers. It seems impossible to have all three of those things at once, but when you're creating video and audio content, it really is possible and it's easy. So now I'm going to answer a question for you. You know that you need to leverage audio and video content, but why haven't you done it? What's the block? I know because I have worked with enough clients and I hear the same things over and over again. They have tried to DIY it. They have enough questions to fill an Amazon warehouse and they have no one to answer those questions for them. They don't know what content topic is profitable for their niche. They don't know what tech they need to film their content, to record their content. They don't know what tech they need to edit it and to make it look professional and put it out there. They're scared because they have a small audience and they feel like they're going to launch and nobody's going to listen. They are wondering how they can make consistent, high converting content after their initial launch. A lot of people are like, yeah, I can do an initial launch, but then I have to keep recording and I don't have the time, the space, the bandwidth for that. And lastly, what if I do all this work, create all this content and nobody shows up and listens? The worst part of all of this is you can Google all you want. You can go to YouTube. You can look for all of the answers, read all of the blogs. And no matter how long you spend doing that, no matter how many cups of coffee you burn through being the Google expert, you're still going to be left in the exact same place you started. You're going to be stretched thin. You're going to be trying to map out your podcast, map out your YouTube channel, figure out how to put all these pieces together. You know that you can do it. You know that you can launch a podcast. You know you can launch a YouTube channel. You know that it's possible to repurpose all of these things, but you don't have the game plan to get you there. So what ends up happening is your head starts filling up with a few easily believable, but totally untrue thoughts that are sabotaging your marketing plans before you ever get them out of Google Drive and into the world. So what lies is your brain telling you? You might be thinking my audience is too small to launch a podcast and YouTube channel. After years of launching podcasts and YouTube channels, here's what we know to be true. You don't need a huge audience to be successful. One of our clients has over 10,000 downloads on her podcast and less than 2,000 followers on Instagram. Her podcast has been super successful. She's made a ton of sales from it. Some of our students have earned $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 directly from their podcast and this marketing strategy. We know because we track it with individualized links, and they have a super tiny social following. The idea that you need to be famous on social media in order to make money with your podcast or with your YouTube channel just isn't true. You don't need to be a lifestyle blogger and have 10 billion people following you. A small engaged audience is worth twice what a big meaningless following is. Okay. Doubt number 2. I need a big budget and a team to pull this off. This one is good because if you have a big budget and a big team, will this be 1,000 times easier? Yes. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you it's not, because if you had a big budget and a big team, right, all of these pieces would be taken care of for you. Like when we work with our clients, they record and then they're done. They post it in Google Drive. We take it from there. We schedule everything. We edit everything. We create all the social assets. So I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it wouldn't be easier if you had all those things. But here's what I can tell you is there is a way for you to do this on your own. There is a way for you to take your existing team, if you have one, to take a VA, to take somebody, or to carve out a little bit of time yourself, probably less time than you're already spending on all of your marketing stuff, and get this going. You don't need complicated tech, a big team, or a ton of money to hire copywriters and graphic designers in order to accomplish this goal. Having those things is super nice, of course, and you may want them eventually. We have had students that have upgraded to our done for you services, but you don't need them to launch a profitable podcast and to implement this macro marketing strategy. You can create a successful podcast and build real relationships with your listeners using a simple and lean marketing model. We still use this in our business today with our tiny team, just me and Shannon. And we're focused on making this simple and profitable for you. That is the way we do everything in our business. We want it simple. We want it profitable. We want the most impact with the least amount of investment, whether that's time, money, whatever. We want it to be simple and profitable. Okay. Big doubt you might be telling yourself. Number 3 is there are already a ton of podcasts in your niche. I hear this one more time, y'all. This is what I hear all the time. So let's flip the script here. What if I told you it's actually a good thing seeing other successful podcasts in your niche? Seeing other successful podcasts in your niche actually proves that there's a market for your idea. There is a large group of people out there looking for podcasts, YouTube channels, et cetera, on exactly what you're coming to offer. The special sauce in this, how you stand out, is how you differentiate yourself from others in your niche. And that comes down to you, your personality, your life experiences, and your quirks. You have to show up authentically. You have to show up as you. And that is why, while we give you, through the Macro Marketing Mastermind, we give you all of the scripts. We give you all of the ideas. That is a jumping off point. And through this mastermind, what we're going to be doing is giving you those scripts through the Scripting for Success bonus. And you are going to take those, switch them up, change them to fit you, to fit your personality. And then you're going to turn them into me. And I will be able to tell, because I get super into our students and they all become my best friends. So I will know if you are being true and authentic to yourself and showing up the real you way. So here's how we're going to differentiate you. You're going to use those scripts. You're going to change them up. You're going to turn them into me. I'm going to read them. I'm going to go through. I'm going to comment them. I'm going to optimize them for conversions. And I'm going to let you know if your personality is coming through. Because if your personality doesn't come through in your intro, in your trailer for your podcast, your outro too. But man, that intro and that trailer are so important. If your personality doesn't come through, no one is going to listen. They're going to hear that intro, hear that trailer. It's going to sound like everything else they've ever heard. And they are going to navigate away. They're not going to hit subscribe. They're not going to keep listening. So we are going to first and foremost, number one thing at the top of my list is to make sure everybody's intro and trailer is the best that it can be. It needs to tell people who you are, why you're there, why you're doing the podcast, and why they should care and why they should keep tuning in. So, another tangent. If you know me, tangents are my thing. So, that is the big difference between this mastermind and what we've done previously. So, now that we've got those three big doubts out of the way, we've kind of busted those, changed your mindset around it. I want to let you know how this mastermind is different. So, we already talked about I'm going to be reviewing your scripts, right? So, previously, we had the Podcast Accelerator membership, and we also had our DIY course. What we found was that people were inside the membership and they hadn't figured out how to launch yet. So people were inside the membership. They wanted all of the repurposing pieces. They wanted all the membership community feel, but they hadn't launched yet. And then we had people in the DIY course who were immediately jumping into the membership or I wish I had all of these pieces when I was launching so I could have done everything all at once. So we're bringing it to you. That's exactly what we're doing. And the DIY people also said, I wish I had more one-on-one support because the DIY course was a tried and true course. The content was up there. It was recorded. People reached out with questions and things, but there wasn't really support in direct feedback on things or coaching calls or anything like that. So we're basically taking the membership and the DIY course and melding them together and creating a brand new mastermind that will basically allow you to copy our workflow. So yes, we're going to launch your podcast. Yes, we're going to launch your YouTube channel. If you already have a podcast or YouTube channel or both, totally cool. We're going to optimize those and we're going to show you how to turn those into a full marketing strategy so that you don't have to spend all your time creating social assets and all of those things. So in the mastermind, we're going to do basically a 6 to 8 weeks. Haven't fully decided. It's going to be kind of based on you all as you're going through it, how quickly we're able to go through the content. I have, totally honest with y'all, I have not ran newbies, people who haven't, launched their podcasts and stuff, haven't had any experience with the tech through this program before. So it's going to be kind of fluid. We're going to take as long on stuff as we need to. Everybody's going to move at the same pace. We're going to start week 1 all together. We're going to kick off that week together, and then we're going to dive into the content. We're going to get that podcast launch. We're going to get that YouTube channel launch. We're going to do all the things together. Through this process, there will be coaching calls. So we will have coaching calls on weeks that we have homework, and then we'll have catch-up weeks. Right now, I only have one catch-up week scheduled in there, but I have a feeling we might have to gap things out and add another catch-up week in there. So on those weeks, we will not have coaching calls, but I'll still be in the Facebook group and I'll be looking over your assets that you've turned into me. So this is another really cool thing is this is almost like group coaching, maybe. I'm trying to find the right word. Somebody let me know what the right word for this is, but it's going to be very individualized. So I'm going to be going through your assets. I'm going to be looking at your scripts. I'm going to be looking at your audio and video. I'm going to be looking at your cover art. I'm going to be giving you feedback on all the things because my number one priority is that this is successful for you. Beyond creating revenue in our business, all that's great. I will not lie to you. The revenue is important and it is great. Any business owner knows that. But with this launch, it's our first time ever doing this program. I'm really excited about it. And I want you guys to be successful more than anything else. I want to see where the gaps are. I want to see where you all need more support. I want to help guide you and I want to help create this program that can help people for forever with their podcasts and launching their YouTube. So this first beta round is going to be super high touch. I have it completely blocked off on my calendar. I will be doing literally almost nothing else other than the podcast during this time. So you will have my undivided attention other than my children and husband, I guess. But I will be full force working right in there with you to get all of this taken care of, to show you how to launch your podcast, launch your YouTube channel, get on TikTok, post all these things on Facebook, do reels, all of the things. We will be here doing it together in the trenches. I will create new assets. I will give you everything you need. I promise. And so that's what really sets this apart. And it may not always be this way because I can't guarantee blocking off 6 to 8 weeks on my calendar for the rest of forever. So this beta round is going to be the most high touch version you're ever going to see. And it's going to be at the lowest price. The repurposing for revenue module, that is the last module that we'll do. I have seen similar things online go for over $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. And they're only showing you how to repurpose for a blog, or usually actually it's repurposing a blog into social post. So it's not even giving you any of those audio video assets. This is going to be like a whole nother thing. It's going to be, it's going to be a full marketing strategy. So this round is the most high touch and the cheapest it's ever going to be. So I really want you guys to try to jump in on this round if you can. We're planning on doing another round in November just to kind of get another round in before the year's over. But I will say getting your podcast launched now would be the best way to go for people who are just starting out because it gives you more wiggle room. The people who launch in November, it's kind of like you hit the podcast world January 1st or you're in trouble and you got to wait because there's so many podcasts that launch January 1st. You have to be in that rollout or you're going to kind of miss the train. So if you are somebody who doesn't want that pressure on them and you want to guarantee that you are getting it at this lowest price and that you're getting the high touch version, then now is your time to enroll. Okay. If you guys have any questions, this was a rambling episode. I totally get that. If you guys have any questions about the mastermind, if you want to know more about what's included, if you want to hop on a call with me and chat about it and see if it's the right fit for you, send me a message. You know where to find me: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, my email, all the places. I will be there. I'm here to support you. I want to make sure that if you invest in this, it's the right choice for you, the right choice for your business. So send me a message. Let me know. I hope you guys are having a great week. And I hope that this resonates with some of you all. And I hope that I see you inside the mastermind.